Thank you all for joining. Please raise your hands if you have questions for Coach. Jeff Magliochetti.
Coach, in your opinion, what was the biggest difference over the final 5 minutes of the game when Minnesota made their final run?
I didn't think we executed down the stretch offensively. I thought, we took some rush shots. One time we didn't run one of the plays that we drew up, and I thought just we got a little sped up and settled, and I thought we did that first stretches in the first half too. But yeah, that last 5 minutes, I thought our offense wasn't great, and then obviously we ended up fouling quite a bit, pretty much throughout the game, and so that was a big difference in the game. 21 free throws attempted versus 11, and that's a big, strong team that's really good at getting the ball inside. And so the doubles came late a lot of the time in the first half, and so was able to capitalize. And we didn't do a great job executing the game plan really in the first half as a whole. I thought that we had a really clear plan laid out, and we've gotten to work on it for a good 4 or 5 days, and we didn't look awake in that first half. It looked like we didn't really wake up until the second half. And so yeah, I was proud of the way that we responded. I was proud of the way that they came out and started that third quarter. But it's what we talked about before the game. It's that putting 4 quarters together and being consistent, being able to take what we're working on and apply it in the game. So it's a work in progress, but there's still a lot of good.
What can you say about the impact Natasha Howard had tonight? And I'm not sure if you did broke it. I don't think you gave us a number during the pregame. Were you tempted to break that minute ceiling you installed upon her, the loose ceiling, I believe you said?
Yeah. I mean, it was really a matter of seeing how she looked. The minute restriction wasn't hard and fast. That's why I didn't give you guys a number, is because it was really, hey, let's see how she's doing. Let's see how she's feeling. How's your body responding to the play? When she sits for a little bit, does it stiffen up? And it didn't. She felt great. She looked great. Obviously, to do what she did, and having not played in a game in so long, and really still not being 100%, it was remarkable. And I thought that she left a lot of points on the board in the first half, but she wasn't rolling, and the rolls were wide open, and she just wasn't getting in there. A couple times we tried to get it to her and got a pass deflected. It just wasn't. We just weren't sharp in that first half, and then we weren't sharp down the stretch. We had some moments where we were, and good things happen.
Appreciate your time and insight, Coach. Thank you.
Thanks.
Jackie Powell.
Hey, Walt. So while y'all stayed competitive, it seemed as though the Lynx maybe forced you all to play their game, which is more reliant on offense in the paint rather than on the perimeter. Was this because of the type of defense they were playing?
I think what we didn't do a good enough job was recognizing switches and capitalizing on them. So it wasn't necessarily that we wanted to get the ball into the paint against the switches. There's multiple ways that we attack it. The paint's one of them. I didn't think that we recognized it well at all in the first half. It's something that we prepared for, heavily. We had a feeling that she was going to go to a lot of switching because of USAB. That both the men's and the women's team at USAB were switching pretty much everything. And so, we had just a thought that might happen. And so we had been preparing for it. But I just think that it's another case of what I was talking about, where you have, with a player who's played against switches for 6 years and understands multiple ways to attack them, it's a little bit easier to make those adjustments. But, when our players have 6-7 days of work on it, I just think it's hard to get them to recognize and read it as quickly as you kind of need to at this level. And we just need the reps. We need the game minutes, and, to continue to get to practice and work on it. But that's part of our growth. It's part of our maturation.
Right. And, I'm curious as to how this team is going to learn. I guess it's a process to incorporate the identity that they had from the first half, sort of with Natasha Howard and how she plays, making sure that her touches are balanced with maybe those of a Laney or a Whitcomb.
Yeah. Part of what we do, we try to look at where mismatches are, ways that we can attack a given defensive scheme. And so it's not necessarily going to be about spreading out touches. It's more about who's got the advantage at a given time. and what advantage can he create. And so, we'll look at different ways of doing that depending on what the defensive scheme is or depending on what the matchups are. I thought we did a really good job of it with Natasha tonight, putting her in positions to be successful, when we got the matchups we wanted. I just thought that we didn't do a great job with the other players. I don't think that we did a great job with our guards finding ways for them to be successful out of those switches. And, that's, like I said, we just need more practice, more work on it, and we'll get there.
Thanks so much, Coach. I appreciate that.
Cortland Griffin.
How you doing, Coach? Welcome back. Tough loss tonight, but you got a lot of production out of Natasha Howard. You also got a lot of production seemingly out of Sabrina, and they both look healthy. How has it been working those guys back with the practice time, like you said, the short practice time that they've had?
Yeah, I thought both of them were fantastic. Sabrina in particular, she really did a good job making the right pass. I thought, she might have over dribbled a couple of times. I just talked to her about this after the game. But for the most part, I thought her decision making was quicker. I thought she just tried to make the right play every time down. A lot of it we were asking for her to create out of those switches and pick and roll. And I thought she did a really good job of that. Took care of the ball, rebounded, passed it, shot it when she needed to. I thought she had a couple threes, really just, hit the rim 6 times and bounce out. She did a lot of good things. I thought it was one of Sabrina's more complete games against a really good defensive team.
Thank you.
Miles Ehrlich.
Hey, Coach. I've got a question kind of following up on what Jackie was asking earlier a little bit. Tonight, the team attempted just 23-point attempts, which is below the season average. Do you think that lower than usual number was because of an emphasis to get the ball to Howard, who had the hot hand, or was the ball sticking too much, or was it something else entirely?
Yeah, I think that Minnesota made an adjustment, it seemed to me, and I have to go back and watch the film, but it seemed to me that they made an adjustment to not help as much. And they're normally a really heavy help team. And I think that looked like what they did was stayed at home more off the weak side. A couple times we had drives. I think Sammy had a couple where she turned the corner and had a wide open lane, and they were expecting help to come, and the help didn't come. And they could have just gone all the way to the rim and laid it up. Honestly, I think that was probably the defensive adjustment that led the most to us not getting a ton of threes, because everything gives something up, right? Like we always talk about. And so the way that they were playing, I thought we could have done a better job turning corners, getting to the rim and finishing. That was something that I was trying to get them to do throughout the game and in dominoes and in transition. And like I said, I just think that we didn't recognize mismatches and places that we could attack in terms of our guards, really just getting into the paint and causing havoc. But I do think that, like I said, that was an adjustment that they made. And, we were preparing for heavy help. So while we were prepared for the switches, we weren't prepared for, them staying at home a little bit more than they normally do.
Got you. Thank you. And after she put up 14 points in the first half, you held Nafisa Collier to just 4 points on 2 of 7 shooting after the break. DD Richards had some extended run out there, but there was also some effective switching happening. What helped you limit Collier during that second half?
I just think a ton of energy and effort from everybody guarding her. They did their work early. They didn't let her get as many deep seals. I thought they did a really good job not fouling her, because she's really good at creating contact, and she's so long. You think you can get a hand on it, and then you end up hitting her elbow. I know she had a really solid game, but I think that they did a heck of a job. I guess containing or limiting what could have been a really, really big game, because she's just such a great player.
Thanks so much.
Azar.
Hey, Coach. I was just wondering, with the way the game, even though you lost, you're fighting a team that has been on a long winning streak, and you took them to the wire. So what do you take from this game as a positive leading into the next game with Seattle coming up, which is one of the top 4 teams in the league?
Yeah, and did they end up winning tonight? By the way, I know they went to overtime.
Good question.
Jeff, you said no.
No, they lost by 2.
Lost, yeah.
Okay. To give you an idea of how good Seattle is, they sat Sue and Stewie against a loaded Chicago team and still almost won the game. So we're gonna have our hands full. I know that's offensively probably the hardest to guard team in the league. They move so well off one another. Sue just really puts them in positions to succeed. Obviously, Sue and Jewel are phenomenal. So, yeah, we're gonna have our hands full. It's not a a foe that can't be conquered, but they're fantastic. They play really, really pretty basketball. So, as far as takeaways from tonight, I mean, obviously Natasha was a big one. The fact that she was able to go for 30 minutes and stay productive the whole time to, guard Sylvia on one end and drop 30 on the other it's just, like I said, it's remarkable. She was able to have that kind of a game with really no game rhythm. There's no way to simulate, what a game's like. And she played, 1 1/4 or 1 in, whatever this whole season. So I think Natasha was a really good takeaway. And I thought Dee Dee was brilliant in her minutes. I thought Dee Dee, I know she was 0 of 1, but I just thought she was really impactful. I thought she changed the flow of the game. She really did a good job pressuring. Whoever the lead guard was at any given time, she just gets up and pressures and bothers you, makes you uncomfortable. And she does so many little things, in addition to her culture stuff. So that was really good to see. It was good to see her get some minutes. And obviously getting Rebecca back out there, it was good to see her, just for those few minutes. And, it just, we had to kind of make some adjustments on the fly. And, Beck will be back to the Beck we know, very, very soon. So she just needs a little bit more time to get comfortable with her stuff.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Coach. All right, next up, we have Natasha, Benijah, and Sammy. Let's give them a second to get into the room. Please raise your hands if you have questions.
Okay. What was the biggest difference between, say, the third quarter where you guys made your run and then the fourth quarter and the final 5 minutes of the fourth where Minnesota kind of pulled away?
I think execution. I think we didn't execute maybe as well, and they did. They got the looks they wanted. They knocked down shots. And I think we didn't do that perhaps as well.
Fair enough. And Natasha, this question is for you. What was it like to be back there for the first time in 15 games, over a couple months out there? And what can you say about the chemistry now that you've gotten to experience it for a full game session on the court with this team, with these 10 to 11 other players out there? What can you say about the chemistry that's being developed, and where can it improve, and what has surprised you about it?
I felt good, playing out there on the basketball floor again. Being out for 2 months, whatever, how long I've been out. It felt good out there, and just practicing with the ladies for 3 weeks too as well, kind of built the chemistry up before we even played Minnesota. But we still got some growing to do as well with the team chemistry, So far, I feel like it's there, but we still building.
And last one for me, Coach Hopkins mentioned before the game that one of the biggest things that you guys did during your time off was bond. And the pictures are on social media. You guys have gone out and had a good time. You guys have built a chemistry off the court as well. So what can you say about that, and how important has the bonding process been to building something toward the rest of this second quote unquote half?
It's very important, to have that bond and that chemistry with your teammates off the court, because it will actually show on the floor as well. You could see the way we've been playing, and it's a good thing that we actually doing these type of things with each other, because you don't really see a lot of teams doing that.
Appreciate your time and insight, all three of you. Safe travels home.
Jackie Powell.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for being here. Just a few from me. So for Sammy first, while y'all stayed competitive, it seemed as though the Lynx were able to force you all to play their game, which I guess is more reliant on offense in the paint rather than the perimeter. Was this because of the type of defense that the Lynx were playing?
Yes.
Right. Okay. And what was that in particular? What were they doing to make you all uncomfortable?
I don't think they made us uncomfortable. I think they just did a good job of not overhelping. So the shots on the perimeter weren't there. And if they're not open, we're probably not going to take them. So we were trying to, I think, execute what the defense was giving.
Great. I appreciate that. And for Benijah, I'm curious as to what you made of Dee Dee's 17 minutes on the floor. What did you think that she brought tonight to keep this group as competitive as it was, or this game as competitive as it was?
She brought, great energy, versatility. She allowed for us to do mix things up defensively. Just the energy that she brings, every game with, whatever minutes she got, really helps us a lot. So I thought she came in and she really executed what she needed to do.
Great. And finally, for Natasha, I'm curious as to what you made of how the ball moved tonight. I mean, the Lynx had 24 assists. I think you all maybe had around 16. Why do you think the ball was maybe sticking a little bit?
For us?
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, I don't think the ball was sticking for us, to be honest. I feel like the ball was swinging on both sides of the floor. On both sides of the court. I don't think we even had a moment that the ball was sticking, to be honest. Like, when I was out there, even though I was on the bench, I feel like the ball was just flowing through everybody. I feel like everybody touched the ball.
Right. Okay. I appreciate that. Thank you all.
Miles Ehrlich.
Hi, this is for anybody. You guys turned it over just 8 times this game with no one on the team having more than 2. What was working well and helping you to prevent some unforced errors tonight?
I think we just did a really good job with this break, making sure that we're handling pressure, that we're not turning the ball over, that we're executing what needs to be executed, and it translated to our game tonight. But with that, we still have to be able to execute when when things aren't going our way. So that was a big focus for us, and I think we executed that tonight. We did that really well, just because I think we average a lot more. So if we can keep that going, for the rest of the season, I think we'll be in good shape.
Great. Thank you, Banaja. And Natasha, tonight you scored 20 of your 30 points in the paint, and you were effective both cutting and sealing for deep passes into the post. Going forward, how do you think you can utilize your skill set to help set up some of those extra passes or perimeter opportunities on a night where you might not have it going as well as you did tonight?
Just keep doing what I'm doing, draw attention in the paint, and be able to, for our shooters, to knock down shots and stuff in the next game, because we have Seattle coming up, and Seattle, I haven't really seen them play like that, but just me drawing that attention in the paint will have the outside open more.
Great, thanks. And then just one more for Natasha and Sammy. You're about to have this back-to-back set against Seattle. I know that that you go one game at a time and that you don't like to think about big rivalry games, but knowing where you sit in the standings, is there any extra emphasis on this return for you guys?
I mean, every game is really important for us right now. So whoever we're playing, we have to come in really locked in, really focused, because we've only got 10 games left and they're all really critical for us.
Thank you so much.
Paul.
Yes, Natasha, I know that there is a minutes restriction. Are you aware of what it is, or as that game is going, are the coaches even discussing with you how you're feeling, or are they predetermining how much time you're going to get? Because certainly the way you were playing, it seemed as though you would have played 120 minutes tonight and still had your way with them.
The coaches ask me how I'm feeling and stuff like that when I come off the floor. But I think I am. To be honest, I'm not sure how the minutes is for me and stuff like that. I just go out there and just play until I get tired.
Any emotions about playing Seattle in light of the blockbuster trade that happened earlier in the year?
I'm excited to play our old team. I know Sammy's probably excited to as well to see some of our old teammates as well. Yeah.
Okay, thanks very much. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thanks, ladies. Thank you all for joining. We will send the recording shortly.